Okay, so we're going to try to draw this. Um, a rose is a little bit easier than some other, like drawing cartoons, some other things like cartoons and faces, because if you get it a little bit off, it still looks like a rose. So that's the good thing. Okay, so you look at how much spaces you want this to take. So maybe it's like this. Let's say it's a round thing. It's not really round, but generally it's a round thing. It's got this coming out, this coming out, this coming out, and there's a straight line here, kind of, this thing coming out. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, so um, if you look at this, there's a mid point here, right down the middle, and then the stem comes out kind of like that. Okay, so this thing kind of pops out. You see this, there's a line here. So we try to break it down to general shapes. This thing's pretty much in the middle. So the round circle, let's say it takes up this whole um, rose. So it tops out here, kind of is rounded here, and then it takes this angle here. And then it kind of stays within this general circle. This one, it comes out like this, general shape, and then it has kind of like a straight line, and it comes in around here. So it's all spacing. So right here, it looks like it could be one big petal here. Either way, it looks like it's one big petal. So this is the bottom of it. That'll be here. This one isn't quite to the bottom. It's like about right here. And then it kind of curves down right here. So inside here, it's a different curve. This is a big smile here, and this is a little bit straighter line here. And it comes together right there. Okay, and then we see this other line here. It's all defined by darks and lights here. And then there's this shape that comes inside here. Now that shape doesn't reach out all the way to this line. This line is actually two lines. I see there's two petals here. It kind of curves in, and it's like this. And there's this one. There's this one here. So we're progressively going into each one, each petal here. So that one's pretty big. It goes out here and it drops all the way down here. Okay. Now we have this petal. That one comes out somewhere around here, around here. It drops down like this. How far does it go down? Well, you can see a little space in between here, so we're gonna leave a space here, like right in through here, comes up, then you can see it goes around here. And it looks like it's one piece, one petal. Okay. Now this one here, let's finish that. That's this one that swoops all the way down here. Um, it kind of tucks itself into this one. And then this one goes here. So this here. So they're all relative to each other. They give you clues on where the other one is. Now we have this one here. This one's kind of hard to see, but it's comes up this far, right? Comes up this far. I'm going to mark it. Comes up this far. Loops around. This one loops around here. And then it gets kind of interesting here. This has a dimension to it. This petal has a dimension to it. And so what's going to happen is we're going to start shading. Once this is we're just drafting it. Now you see this negative space here. It's kind of like a smiling triangle there. That is, and it's easy to lose yourself in here, but that's this triangle right here. So this kind of swoops down, and I didn't do that enough. It swoops down more here, and then it comes back up. Of course, nobody's going to know unless they're comparing the two, but it's good practice to look at these things, so when you do draw people, you use the same technique. So this, trying to follow this contour here. It's kind of straight lines here. And when they're all curved, it's nice to get some straight lines in there. Kind of break up the monotony. Not all the edges are smooth. Okay, let's go out to here. There's a line angle here. So that angle comes out like this. And it comes out straight line here. And then this angle goes up like this. And the circles all the way around to about here. So we start here, and then we have these lines meet. This one's at the top here. Maybe I cut it short, maybe I bring it out a little bit longer, taller. And this one we hadn't drawn yet. It comes in like that. And then there's a shadow here. We don't want to start shading it in yet, but sometimes that gives us visual cues on what's what. Now there's this little thing here. This petal kind of doesn't look like it's going with the rest of it, but we can drop something like that in there. And what happens is, you see all this is darker in here. This will become like a single tone. And people will get it. And then, of course, if you didn't draw that, and nobody saw the original, they'll still get it. They'll still understand it's a rose. There's no leaves or anything, so now we're going to start working towards the inside here. If you look at this, there's a lot of space here. Is that as much as that? No, I don't think so. So let's go back in, and then this kind of comes around like this, and then this has a little angle to it like this, because there's folds and the turns, and we got to capture them. Usually at a turn, there's one comes in front of the other, so you cross over the line like that. Now, it's probably getting hard to follow what's going on in here. But basically, you can see it gets to be more crowded with the lines. And so we just want to capture that kind of action going here. Not everything is going to be exact. You can see this line here. It actually, it's this where we are here. It's easy to get lost. Okay. And so it goes in and it goes further in, and they keep crossing with each other. And so you want to, even though it goes in towards the center, you want to be delicate with it and try to get that pattern to continue. But at some point, it's going to collapse into the center point. And what it is in here is a bunch of lights and darks. So you want to be able to do a light to dark in here, and things will start looking really good. Um, and basically, they're shapes that are tucked behind each other. So there's going to be shadows and then darks to lights. And so if you continue with that, and some of it's improvising, but just as long as you know when a pedal's in front of the other, um, it's going to create shadows like this right here. This is tucked in behind, so there's going to be a little shadow down here, and you could practice doing shading. Like let's say here, you just make it heavier and then you go lighter. And so if you do that, and you could do this, you could turn the paper too. I won't turn the paper, but usually I do, and make it lighter, and you do it in sections if you have to. You could do it a little bit more careful than I'm doing it right now. You can see there's this darkest spot here, one of the darker spots here. It crosses over here, and you could make that dark to light. In here, there's a whole pattern of that happening. Dark to light, light to dark. It follows that contour, and you could just, and you don't want to overdo it. And here's some more here. You might want to go in and darken some of these lines also. Come in dark, really dark, and then lighten it up really quickly. That's something you can do, because all the transitions are not the same. Right here, it's good to punch it up by getting it really dark and then going light with it. That gives it some, it makes it a little bit more dynamic. Now all this under here is pretty dark. It's a curve, because the way your hand is made, it's easier to make lines this way, and curves will be easier to turn the paper, but again, I'm not going to do that right now. And so you don't have to do a lot of it, but if you look at the overall light and darks, it's lighter up here, darker down here. So you do want to adhere to that kind of light and dark composition. And I'm doing this quickly. Some of the cross-hatching isn't exactly how I want it, but but again, I'm adhering to the light and dark, general light and dark of the whole composition. And there's a little dark spot right in here. Then we come out light. Then we want to maybe reinforce the outline here. And you can do that with a little bit of shading also. And here also. And then so here's some petals here. This one's coming out from behind it, so it might look like that. Same here, you have some here. You might make these darker, and then you go quick dark to light, quick dark to light. It doesn't have to be consistent all along the line. And then right here, this is the one in front. So let's do a light shadow here. And then right here, here's a big white spot here. It's never really like that, so I'm gonna drop in. And then when it hits this other one, I'll make it really dark. See, this is all improvising, and right in here. And right in here. And then right in here. Right in here. And that's it. That's all you got right there. Whenever you do a shadow here, you can leave one contour and it looks like there's a light reflected on that side. And that's it.